Yeah, I mean, we started that process, in March, identifying some of the World Cup gaps and modify elements of the training, and particularly focus area. It's about at times putting focus and attention on the right things at the right time. Again, I think the World Cup is a different context. I think when you look at the context of a World Cup, you've got players stepping in with the pressure of a World Cup moment. I felt you go back to watch some elements of the games, and players are pulling the trigger when there's better options in the box to have a higher goal scoring opportunity. But there's that feeling or pressure or excitement to score that goal. So when you see us in March against Honduras, against CONCACAF teams, there's a different feel, there's a different context that the players have to embrace, which they should get more chances in those games, and they're used to scoring at this level. So, the work that we've got to do is closing a gap, I think, long term, but certainly, changing some of our training processes to ensure the timing, the separation, the things that are important in the box, the numbers that we get in there are consistent, whether we play CONCACAF teams or we're now preparing ourselves for those tier 1 world standard teams. So yeah, definitely some shifts in the mentality and in the training environment, but not to oversell it. I mean, at the end of the day, this is cup final football now, and for us, you don't want to put too much pressure on one area. It's just got to be a collective team performance, and stick to our identity, and those marginal gains in the box will be part of the work, but not right at the core of it.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you. John Molinaro.
Thanks, Dom. Hi, John. Thanks as always for taking the time to speak to us. After Tokyo, Bev talked about wanting the women's team to sort of remain true to its core values of being defensively sound, but at the same time being more adventurous and fluid in their attacking play. I'm curious, with the men's side, is there some sort of tactical evolution or change in style of play that you'd like to see the team undergo, leading up to the build-up to 2026?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think the personnel, at your disposal typically guide your identity as a team. I think as a coach, you have a philosophy, a style. I think you've seen that, at the World Cup, which is a proactive style, a front-footed style, those high defensive lines. And I think coming out at the World Cup, we were pretty clear. We had some, top 6 in the world performances at our ability to deny progressions, which meant, our high pressing was highly effective against good teams. Our deep progressions, our progression ability was within the top 6 of the world. So, there were things that we did that were top level. What we learned, again, aligning to what Josh had said, is, we underperformed in the box. We had, strong XG, but we weren't capitalizing from those moments. And sometimes that was just either a lack of numbers or, not having the composure in the moment to actually finish the chances that we got. I think Belgium was a great example of that. And then defensively, we conceded. We had a strong defensive XG at the World Cup, but teams were conceding more goals than they should have. Scoring more goals than they should have from the moments they were actually achieving. So we've deep dived into those areas. I think it's definitely tidying up in both boxes. I think the fans, the modern day football fan, they don't want to see a team, bunk it in, even if it, gives the team more chance of winning. It's just not what I think this team is about. It's not what this country is about at this stage in its evolution. I think state of game, if you're 1-0 up, 20 minutes to go, you adapt your philosophy, your style to win a football match. But when that whistle blows, I think Canada will be a proactive style of play, a team that as you've seen at the World Cup, we'll look to break high presses, we'll look to break medium presses with, that adaptability in the way we attack, our commitment to releasing our mavericks in flank areas and bringing, those players with the 1v1 ability into the game as much as we can. And defensively, to always be on that front foot, to regain in the front 3/4 of the field, to regain within 3 passes of losing the ball. I mean, these are core elements of the MNT identity. But I think as the big World Cup learnings were what happened in the boxes weren't good enough. And to point out what Josh sort of highlighted, we've been training other elements like our ability to progress, our ability to regain higher up the pitch, and not training those elements that need work, which is your box defending and your box attack in those absolute finishing moments. So we started that work in March and we'll continue, and I don't see a massive amount of change unless we see different profiles coming into this, and if Xavi and Iniesta drop out of the sky for Canada, then you may see a team that attacks more centrally. But with the strengths that we have in flank areas, our game's built around attacking centrally to open wide and then exploiting those flank areas as much as we can.
Thanks, John. Appreciate the in-depth answer.
Thank you.